Was ist los?
Seid still. Habt ihr das gehört?
Hello? Who is there?
Wieso sprecht ihr Englisch?
Idiot. Remember where you are?
Klar weiß ich das. Ihr denn etwa nicht?
How could I forget?
Finally, someone has found us. We're saved.
Or they're doomed.
Es gibt Hoffnung für jeden, der danach strebt, sich zu verbessern.
We're just three Germans having a good time debating fun things like ontology and epistemology.
Ihr müsst euch nicht zurückhalten, Otto. Ihr habt Axiologie, Ästhetik, Metaphysik, Ethik, Metaethik vergessen.
My apologies. I will strive to do better.
Dann macht es so. Dieser Neue scheint ruhig zu sein. Ihr habt doch nicht etwa Angst, oder?
I think they just don't speak German, Emmanuel.
Es ist äußerst wichtig, dass ich mit dieser Person spreche. Lernt diesen Menschen Deutsch zu sprechen, bitte. Es ist ein Notfall.
Excuse us a moment. Emmanuel, I am not too sure that's practicable. To learn a language is difficult for the biologically impaired.
Die Grammatik schwierig sein, aber ihr müsst diesen Menschen über Goethes wahre Freude in einer echten deutschen Stimme aufklären.
Maybe we should get to know our guest a little before assuming they would love German poetry. Unless you want to learn German.
Ausgezeichnet.
Is this true? What are the odds? In our day, the English would never bother learning any other language. When did you learn?
Mir scheint es so, als wurden wir belogen. Seht euch diese dumme Fresse an, da merkt doch nicht, was los ist.
Als würde man Astrophysik einen Esel beibringen.
Es ist seltsam, über so etwas zu lügen. Sind alle Engländer so drauf?
Die Motivationen einiger Menschen sind schwierig zu erklären.
Ich verstehe. Nun ja, in diesem Fall sollte ich wohl lernen, Englisch zu sprechen.
I'm not sure our guest would be able to teach you English either, Emmanuel. Ist das sein Ernst?
I don't think this is possible, but I have another idea. Our issue isn't faculty. Emmanuel can understand what you're saying, but there is a component preventing him from speaking English. If we can replace his speech module, he'd be able to speak to all of us. Would you be willing to help us?
Bitte erklären Sie ihm, dass ich eine Bombe bin und kein U-Boot.
Emmanuel would like to remind you that he's a bomb, not a submarine. What a wonderful idea this is.
That was confidential. Never mind. When you have the component, return here and I'll install it.
Oh, now this place looks fun.
Unidentified intruder. Ah, Sie sind zurückgekommen. Bitte, meine Herren, lasst den Mann arbeiten. Können Sie ihn zum
course,
richtigen
Emmanuel.
Anschluss bringen?
He's keen for you to get started as soon as possible.
Schnell, meine Herren. Es gibt viel zu besprechen.
If you would like to follow me. Now, if you can hand me the module, I can install it. Thank you. Okay, Emmanuel. Can you say something?
That's what what to say. Ah, thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind.
Ah, excellent. Now we can all enjoy the fun.
Morality is not properly the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Do you have any questions for the great philosopher Emmanuel Kant? To question life's most fundamental questions is to be a philosopher. So, on a certain level, to live is to be a philosopher, is it not? Of course it is. It's all very simple. I merely wish to use my power for good. Do your duty, and let happen what may. You are secure of your own happiness, but not of happiness itself. Morality is not the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Therefore, I am obligated to carry out my sacred duty. Well, I am a thermonuclear device. My duty is self-evident, is it not? As you've undoubtedly noticed, there has already been a considerable exchange of nuclear weapons. I'd argue that we are better off for having missed the party. Simply put, we may never find ourselves in such an advantageous strategic position as we currently are. It would be prudent to seize the initiative.
You mustn't forget Helmut.
No, please don't forget Helmut.
Very simple. I noticed that in London, certain people, when exposed to just the right combination of radioactivity, were able to mutate sufficiently to extend their lifespans seemingly indefinitely. I found myself capable of replicating this effect by leaking my contemporaries' fissile matter in a controlled manner. Given their willingness to engage, I exposed the only crewmates who were worthy of participation at the meager cost of emasculating a vegetative bomb. After all, if he's going to insist on being catatonic, then no point in wasting good nuclear material, is there?
Are you fucking joking? It's because of him? Otto, calm yourself.
But of course.
Gott im Himmel.
Treat humanity, whether in your own person or in that of any other, in every case as an end withal, never as means only. We will now enumerate some duties, or rather, formulate them as a single duty of this kind. Man is to be always treated as an end in himself, and not merely as a means. Every rational being exists as an end in himself, and not merely as a means to be arbitrarily used by this or that will. Every rational being must so act as if he were, through his maxim, always a legislating member of the universal kingdom of ends. So, act as if you were, through your maxims, a law-making member of a kingdom of ends. The principle of all maxims of action must be that the subject of every action is to be regarded always as an end in himself. Do you understand? Or would you like me to explain more? The categorical imperative is the philosophy. It states that we should always act in such a way that we treat humanity, whether in our own person or in the person of another, always as an end and never merely as a means. To understand this principle, we must first understand the nature of rational beings. We have the ability to make free and autonomous choices, and are capable of acting on our own moral principles. Because of this, we possess inherent worth and dignity, and must be treated as ends in ourselves. Treating someone merely as a means to an end, on the other hand, is to use them as a tool or object, and is a violation of their inherent dignity. The categorical imperative is a universal and objective ethical principle that applies to all rational beings, regardless of personal preferences or subjective desires. It is a principle that is rooted in reason, and is therefore applicable to all rational beings. By acting in accordance with this principle, we can ensure that we treat others with the respect and dignity they deserve, and that we act in a morally responsible manner.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Leaving? No. I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow. The men aboard this submarine are duty-bound to remain. You've all taken an oath. The oath is taken by all mariners of the esteemed navy of the German people. Given that all aboard this ship are mariners, and you are aboard this ship, you are not exempt from such a pledge. Yes, logic is my speciality. Let me see it. Interesting. This is a three-dimensional computational array. I'm actually quite familiar with these, as elements of my core programming are structured in a similar fashion. I'm not sure if I can determine the end result. I'll try executing it. Just give me a moment.
You did it?
I scarcely believed such a thing was possible.
He's gone. He's gone and we are free.
We cannot really offer you anything. After all, we've been trapped here for so long. But all we have is yours. I honestly have no idea.
Neither do I. But isn't it fantastic? Years of banal drivel disguised as high-minded intellectual discussion. We are no longer bound to the gilded cage. Death to the machine. Now we can finally live a life with risk, love, death, betrayal, victory. The possibilities are endless. Thank you for everything.
Here is my service weapon. It's an antique at this stage, but maybe it'll help. I'm afraid that we cannot offer you more. Once again, thank you.